Hi, welcome to Wednesday. This is from Jennifer. My 3-year-old daughter seems to be seeing ghosts in her house. Last year, when she was 2, she insisted there was a man standing near the window in mine and my husband's bedroom, smiling at her. She was fine with it. This past week, however, she was telling me there is a lady with long black hair sitting in her closet with long fingernails, and that she is afraid of. I do not mind ghosts as long as they leave us alone, but the one in my daughter's room worries me. What can I do? First of all, let's go to the smiling older gentleman. Get old family albums down and sit down with her and have her look through the pictures. See if she can pick out the man that she saw smiling in your bedroom. You'd be surprised how good kids are at doing that. I mean, this could be somebody that died 10 or 15 years ago. But people that cross over come back and visit all the time, and they love to see their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, their great-great-great-grandchildren. See if she doesn't know who it is. And that would have been nobody that you should have worried about. That would have been fine. Now, the one in the closet is a whole nother matter. If there's a ghost in the closet, it's up to no good. Why would they be in a closet? They're there to scare probably the kid. So that is definitely something that you should be thinking about, getting the house blessed or using a smudge stick. If you do it regularly, like I've said many, many times, the lady with the long black hair and the pointed fingernails should eventually leave. This one is from Olga. My daughter keeps telling me that she sees dark spirits crossing the doorway to her bedroom. They don't enter her room, but she says she sees the dark shadows out there. I notice that every time I take pictures of my daughter, she has orbs around her, and in one picture, there was a real bright light. Let's answer that part of the question first. Orbs are good. We've talked about it before. Orbs are people that have crossed over and that are visiting, so that's terrific. The bright white light actually could have been the light from her guardian angel or a spirit guide. That's very popular. And just because she saw dark shadows does not mean that this was something that was bad. It just means that at the time she was seeing whoever was walking in the hallway, that's how her eyes saw the energy of that entity. Don't worry about it. I think that's fine, especially with all the orbs and the white light. Also, my husband states that while he's working downstairs in the basement, he hears footsteps going across the kitchen floor. I haven't seen or heard anything personally, but sometimes I feel as if I'm not alone. Any ideas? That one that your husband is hearing is probably a spirit that is earthbound. Ones that crossed over do not make noise. So I think that's, again, smudge, have the house blessed, but that would definitely be what that is with your husband hearing it. This one is from Kathy in Connecticut. When I was a little girl, grammar school age, my family and I lived in a haunted house. In this house, we would constantly hear things. Our cats would freak out at looking at the air. 2 times I saw out of the corner of my eye my grandmother, who passed away a few years prior. My question is there any way to get this ability back that I had when I was a child? Or is this only something that children have and then they outgrow? Sort of. Children definitely can do it, and they definitely outgrow it. Same as when they start school, they're busy with activities, their friends, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church, they're just busy. And they don't think about ghosts unless it's Halloween. So you probably are 100% right. You saw it and you lost it. It's one of those things, if you don't lose it, you use it, you lose it. But here's something that I've noticed over the years. As the house gets empty nest, kids are gone, they're grown, what have you. For some reason, and it's more with women than with men, all of a sudden you start getting that ability back. I don't know why. Is it that you're not as busy now because the kids are gone, or you're not, who knows? There could be 10,000 reasons why that happens. But, so don't lose hope. Maybe at some point you will start to see them or hear them again, which would be something really cool if that's what you want to do. This one is from Janet. This is interesting. When I see roadside memorials who have died on these spots, I wonder if these things keep the people from crossing over. No, it does not. If they haven't crossed over, they're not going to stand in the middle of a highway or on a corner someplace. Who are they going to get energy from? Remember, earthbound spirits need human energy to keep going. And so they're not going to get that standing out there. Does it make them feel good that they were loved or people cared about them? Sure. But to keep it going for years and years, seriously, it may make you feel better or the people that are setting it up, but it's seriously not doing anything for the spirit themselves. This one is from Kim. I talked to you a long time ago and you told me that I had two ghosts, a lady on one floor and a man in the basement. I do not smudge frequently. But I do have major appliance problems. After my husband and brother died, I quit smudging because I didn't want to keep them out. And I thought that's what they were going to do. I really don't mind if they hang around me. Well, now my furnace, washer, hot water tank, stove, car, completely all broke down. I started hearing a woman's voice, and she would try to push me out of bed. That happens a lot, actually. The animals would start barking at nothing. I was getting really scared in the basement again, so I started smudging again. It does calm things down. Some, but not completely. I still see things out of the corner of my eye, people's shadows, hear footsteps walking up and down the stairs. I can smell a sweaty, stinky man. This has been happening in the car also. Any ideas what I should do? Well, first of all, you have to hope that your brother and your husband crossed over. Smudging will not bother anybody that is coming from the light. Smudging only stops or calms down or makes earthbound spirits lethargic. It has nothing to do with ones that are coming to visit you from the other side. And with all the problems that you're having, I certainly would start smudging on a really regular basis. And you have to know that it's not your husband and your brother, seeing that you've heard a woman's voice. And I think it's interesting that a woman is pushing you out of bed. Usually that doesn't happen. But nothing is impossible. So Kim, start really smudging on a regular basis. I think that's your only hope because you don't exactly live too close to me. This is the pictures that I'm going to show you today. Let me set it up. A lady called me, this was many years ago, and she said to me, my husband and I are fighting terribly. She says, we have nothing but trouble. She says, in the middle of the night, we can hear noises, and it never fails. We both have jobs that we absolutely have to be on time to. We get docked if we are 2 minutes late. She said, so we are very aware of how we have to get out of the house in the morning. And it never fails. 3-4 days a week, the clock radio never goes off. We've even set an alarm clock across the room, thinking that maybe in the middle of the night we're reaching over and popping the top of the button and it's stopping, or we're turning it off when we're half asleep. We just don't know what we're doing. Sometimes we keep it on his side of the bed. That way I can blame him. Sometimes I keep it on my side of the bed. That way he can blame me. But something is going on. So it was a couple of nights ago. It was actually the day before a full moon. And I had gotten up and she had gone to the bathroom. And she came back in the bedroom. And it was like she saw a mist or a fog around the clock radio. So she went back in the living room and got her camera out. And again, this is not a digital camera. This is a handheld, I think it was a Canon camera. And the pictures I'm going to show you are the dial on the clock radio. This is a perfect example of how earthbound spirits can manipulate energy. This is why computers don't work, or cell phones don't work, or TVs go staticky, or anything electronic. This is what happens. This is the first one. Oh boy, let's see. Oh, maybe you're not going to be able to see this after all. That's sad. There's a little, you can see where that arrow is. There's a red little line. That's the dial on the clock radio. I know you can see the mist, but I don't think you can see the energy coming off of it like I wanted you to. Maybe you'll see it better in this one. It's a little bit brighter. Yeah, yes, you can see it. That's pointing to the dial on the clock radio. And if this was a little bit clearer, you could see the streaks. Actually, you can here. You can see the streak going up the side. This is what this ghost was doing. And when that ghost was there around that clock radio, it was definitely turning it off or making it go out of whack where it never went on. And look at the fighting that the two of them were doing, how stressed out they were because they couldn't get to work on time. This is what earthbound spirits do. So when I tell you electronics, absolutely, positively. Okay, we are still in a Mercury retrograde, and I have to tell you, doing this today has been absolutely miserable. This is the 4th time we had to start this over again. This stupid thing just keeps going off, stopping, almost done, and it stops. We are still in a Mercury retrograde. It is not over until March 9th. I will be so glad when this one is over. The only thing I want to say is that, if you still have questions more about a Mercury retrograde, go to my website or go to YouTube's number 6 and 20. There's more information on how and why this happens. On April 25th, I will be at the Merry-Go-Round Museum in Sandusky. I'll be there from noon to 3. There'll be a talk, and there will also be a ghost walk there, which should be pretty interesting. The place is letting us go into different areas of the museum that nobody goes into. So who knows what we might find there. It should be pretty good, and the weather should be pretty decent by then. Next week, we're just going to do questions again. Lots of questions have come in, so we're going to do that again. And the other thing that I want, if you have pictures or you have any comments about anything that goes on in any kind of a religious setting, churches, anything like that, I have pictures and different stories of things that actually have happened in churches. And believe me, it's not all bad. There's some really nice stuff too. So talk to you next week. Thanks very much.